Hey writers, thanks for checking out the replay of this Writerly Wednesday chat. You can check me out live on Periscope at 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Oh, Allie's here. That's exciting. Hello, hello. Yay, April's here. Hello, how goes it? Oh, fantastic. But I just got the notification on my phone. Hi, Kat. Yeah. Cool. I'm gonna put my computer to sleep so that there's no glare on my glasses, because that bothers me. I am obnoxiously punctual. I will admit to that, Jace. I am, I may or may not sit down in this chair approximately 5 minutes before 6 so that I can, set up all my stuff, and then I just sit here and, look at the clock until it turns to 6, and then I hop on. No, I mean, it's because it's in the evening, so 9 times out of 10, I've wrapped everything up and I have the time to just sit here. And it's also a little bit, yeah, it's also a little bit bad. It's a bad habit for me. I should probably give myself less time to sit here and get extra nervous. Cool. It looks like I have some new folks this evening. So if you're new, feel free to introduce yourself. I like to know. Hi, Montrez. I recognize you from Alley Scopes. Happy you're here. I like to say hello to as many people as I can. Jennifer, you were in Alley Scope the other day too. Hello. You'll make it our goal. Hi, Joseph. Hello. Fantastic. Well, we've got a nice sized group, so I will. Hi, TA. I will just start spieling. So tonight we're talking about setting a writing schedule, and this is part 1 of a series that I had written on my blog back before I knew all of you lovely people. So I'm sort of repurposing it here. Oh, Hanya's here. Hi, Hanya. But it's a series that I wrote towards the end of when I was training for the marathon that I ran in December, because I was seeing a lot of, hi, Jen. Your name is Jen. I know that, I think, or I'm wrong. But I was seeing a lot of parallels between, yes, okay. I was seeing a lot of parallels between writing practice and marathon training. So I decided to write about it. And so tonight is all about me sitting here telling you that big challenges are way more doable than you think. I really did not, start off 2015 thinking, you know what, I think this is the year I run a marathon. Honestly, no. It was, my friend talked me into it in around February, and then we started training, and then I was doing it, and I was like, how on earth is this my life right now? So challenging long-term goals can be accomplished by anyone. I'm honestly proof of that. Before I ran the marathon, I had run one 5K approximately 5 years ago. So I was not a runner by any stretch of the imagination. I had run in the past, but this was completely sort of out of the blue. But it was so much fun. And the way that I accomplished it was that I made a plan and I stuck to it. Yeah, I felt like I was being chased. Funny story. So actually, a little bit of a tangent here. The marathon, I don't know if, I think this is probably common for most marathon races, but so since they have to shut down large stretches of cities, basically, they have to shut down all kinds of roads in order for the marathon to happen. They actually do have a line of cops basically that follow behind the last runners that reopen the roads. And so actually I was pretty terrified of being caught up to by those people. So that's probably why I ran as fast as I did in the start, because I was like, you're not going to get me. No, we don't all have to run marathons. I'm speaking metaphorically. The marathon is a metaphor at this point. It happened. I don't know if it'll happen again. So don't feel like I'm trying to talk you into running a marathon. But if you have any other big thing that you're trying to accomplish in your life, I'm hoping to provide you with support and inspiration in this post to reach whatever that goal is. So yeah, so to accomplish this giant thing that I accomplished last year, I made a plan and I stuck to it. And after finishing a novel, you might feel like you've run a marathon. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. So yeah. And keep in mind that this sort of ties into my little spiel that I gave about setting SMART goals. So I had a specific goal to be able to run a marathon by a specific date. And then I broke it down and I followed the training plan so that I could reach that goal. So yeah, like anything, routine and consistency are the keys to achieving your long-term goals. They are also the hardest part to do. Because it can seem like there's just not enough hours in a day to do the things that we want to do. But I'll tell you a little secret. You do have time. We all have the time for the things that we want to do. We all find time to do the things that we want to do. So it might take some creative scheduling and some sacrifices. Setting realistic goals. Yeah, that's a big part too. I mean, so sort of speaking to that, I never once was like, okay, I'm training to run a marathon. I'm going to go out and run 26 miles today. Like that didn't happen. It was, okay, today I'm running 2 miles. On Wednesday, I'm running 3 miles or whatever, Friday, I'm running this many miles. It was never like, okay, I'm going to go out and do it and I'm just going to run 26 miles all the time and then I'll be able to run a marathon. Like that's not how that works. So setting realistic goals and benchmarks and, all of the SMART techniques that we had talked about is super important. And then also sticking to that plan that you've set for yourself with routine and consistency. And so finding the time to accomplish the goal that you want, to stick to the plan that you've made for yourself, is going to take possibly some creative scheduling and some sacrifices. I got up at 6 a.m. to go run more times than I really ever want to do again. But I wanted to run a marathon, and so I did it. And I was out on Saturday mornings running, 10, 13 miles on some weekends. I was running for, 2-3 hours on pretty much every weekend between when I started and my marathon. And that was time that I'm never going to get back. But you know what? It was fun because that's what I wanted to be doing at the time. So, you can find the time to do the things that you want to do. You just have to decide that you are committed to this thing. So yeah, and then part of this post is that was inspired by the fact that I really don't like the advice that new writers seem to get a lot, which is to write every day, no matter how long or what it is, just write something every day. Because on the one hand, I get it, like, sure, you're writing, that's good, but on the other, I think it's vague and not entirely helpful. If it works for you, that's fantastic. If you can make that happen and writing every day is your plan, then that's great, and go you, and I applaud you. But if you're like me and you're thinking, okay, every day isn't super doable, does that mean that I'm never going to be a writer or I'm never going to write a book? No, I'm sitting here to tell you that no, that's not true. You can not write every day and still be a writer. But April, I know that you've been on a crazy roll and I'm super proud of you. So you keep up with that. That's fantastic. I am not bashing you in any way or anyone else who does that. Yeah, you'll maybe write a little less than you were thinking. Some days it is about being realistic. One thing that I noticed is that while I was running, whenever I looked up running advice, not a single runner ever said, just run every day, Because like I said, sure, it's great that you're writing even for 5 minutes, Like if I break the streak, then I feel super bad and it holds me back from trying again. Yeah, that can definitely be part of it. You're reading my mind. Get out of my head. Except don't. I like you in there. So yeah, even if you're writing for 5 minutes a day, yay, you're writing. That's fantastic. But what are you really accomplishing? Like, do you know how long it would take to run a marathon if you only ran 5 minutes a day? Like, that's not. And research and writing exercises, etc. can count. Exactly. Yeah, exactly. And so that's sort of what I'm talking about here. I'm still sort of refining this argument the more I think about it and the more I write about it and talk about it. Because yeah, writing adjacent activities are still productive. So I think that's good, and that sort of falls into what I'm thinking. Because like I said, none of the running blogs or running articles that I read said run every day. It was like you have 2 or 3 runs, maybe 4 runs in a week, and thinking about your project as writing too. Yeah, exactly. So you'll have like 3 or 4 runs in a week, and then you have other workouts that you're doing, in order to strengthen certain muscle groups and to make the running easier. And so that's sort of how I'm thinking about this whole building a writing schedule thing. As part of it is taking the time to research stuff, is taking the time to just sit and think about your story, is taking the time to read other things that inspire you, or listen to music, or listen to a podcast, or do anything. And so this sort of falls into also the Periscope that I just did about consistently fueling your creativity. For these purposes, I refer to it as cross-training, and we will get there. So I'm writing nearly every night. My stories invade my dreams if I wait too long. I've been there. Community can definitely fuel you. Yeah, spending some time with your writerly buddies can definitely, it puts me in that writerly headspace. So my alternative to the write every day advice is to come up with your training plan. And so the first step for this is to consider your goal. What is the goal of your training plan? Are you wanting to write a novel? Do you want to write some short stories? How many short stories? Mine at this particular moment in time is just to reestablish my consistent writing practice, because I got real busy this year, you guys, like super busy between my business and planning a wedding and just like a bunch of other stuff that I was like, yeah, I'll do all of those things. That's totally fine. So thank you. But my writing has really suffered because my brain is on overload and I feel guilty about it. And, I've been really struggling to get back into the rhythm of things because it just feels like, I'm so far behind at this point. I don't even know what behind means because it's not like I'm on anyone's schedule other than my own, but my brain is the worst. So, yeah, my goal at the moment is to reestablish my consistent writing practice. So that's the goal of my training plan. Step 2A is to set a race day. So think about how long, it's going to take you to establish this new habit, to put in place the practices that are going to help you reach this goal. How long is it going to take you to write this novel? I have perfectionism and anxiety and all kinds of fun stuff that makes it real easy. I will get to that, April. It's coming. I will tell you. So yeah, studies say that it takes approximately 30-ish days to sit on your hands. No, I'm just kidding. So studies say that it takes approximately 30 days to make a new habit, but it might take you longer, and there's no shame in that game. It might take less time for you, It's all up to you and what your goal is and what's feasible for your schedule, which brings us to step 2, which is to design your plan. And so in designing your plan or your training plan / writing schedule, you need to consider your current day-to-day schedule of activities. What are your responsibilities? What time do you currently have available? And what time can you make? Like, can you watch 2 hours less of Netflix and maybe spend 2 more hours at some point over the course of a week writing. I almost certainly can do that. So you want to look at what time you honestly are spoken for, so like work and other responsibilities that are just not available. And then you need to look at your flexible time. So you, like I said, it might take some creative scheduling and some sacrifices, but you have the time if you want to make it. And the other thing I'm going to say is to be ambitious, but don't go overboard. Your training plan should be challenging, but never self-defeating, because that gets back into that sort of, that gets back into that, I feel guilty if I break the streak thing, or I feel guilty if I'm not sticking to the plan, which defeats, makes you feel like you're not living up to things, and, defeat and guilt and self-loathing and whatnot, they're all the enemies of creativity. So we don't want to put ourselves in a position where we're going to be feeling like we're failing. So you want to make as much time as you can, but also be realistic with your schedule. Which brings us to my plan for reestablishing this practice. And I'm telling this all to you for a little bit of accountability, but I'm putting a big ol' asterisk on it. That's me making a little star with my fingers. Big ol' asterisk on it that I am being super nice to myself about this until after my wedding in June. Because once that's over, I will actually have probably about 75% of my brain capacity back, at which point I can fully commit to this new plan. But it is something that I want to try to get back into now, because if I can make it work, great. But if I can't make it work at this moment in time, I'm going to be super nice to myself about it. Yes, after the honeymoon. Whenever that's going to happen, that's a whole other story. I'm so done planning things. I'm like, if you want a honeymoon, you make it happen. I'll be there. So my plan is my goal is to reestablish my writing practice. My plan is to have short runs twice a week. My goal is to write for at least 30 minutes on Monday and Wednesday. I haven't settled on an exact time because I need to look at what my schedule looks like, what my hours look like, and where I can put that time. But if you can schedule your writing time for approximately the same time every day, or not every day, for approximately the same hour in the day whenever you're writing, that's best, because then your brain will learn, oh, it's 3:00 on a Monday, this is writing time, and your brain will sort of just be wired to go into that place automatically. So I'm going to pick a 30-minute chunk to commit to on Mondays and Wednesdays, and then I'm going to have a long run of 1 to 2 hours of writing time on Thursdays, because that's the way that the running schedules that I was following worked. You had your short runs during the week, and then Saturdays were the day when you did your long runs, but I'm working at the library on Saturdays, unfortunately, so Thursday is my most open day, which is completely weird. Inspiration, I think you meant, comes at 9 a.m. every morning. Oh, that's good. That's a good little clock to wake up by. Oh, hi, Audra. And then I'm going to schedule 30 minutes to an hour of cross-training time every Sunday, which is time that I'm going to spend reading or researching or listening to something or watching something, consuming something that's going to make me feel inspired. And I'm going to, write down any ideas I have during that time, or if I don't have any ideas, that's totally cool. So yeah, and then I have set my race day as May 31st, because I'm going to try to reestablish this plan starting at the beginning of May. And so I'm going to take the month of May to see how this is and isn't working, if I need to adjust times, if I need to adjust days, and then I will recalibrate and set my goal all over again. So yeah, like I said, I'm going to be super nice to myself while I'm following this plan. If it doesn't work out right now, it's totally fine. I'm going to try really hard not to beat myself up about it, because forcing yourself to do something if you are feeling tired or, in this case, uninspired, like if during marathon training, if my muscles were too fatigued, I was doing more harm than good to try and force myself to keep running. So if my brain muscle is too fatigued, sounds like I'm doing the same thing with starting my blog, Flash Fiction site. What same thing? Are you making a plan, or are you trying to run on tired brain muscle? Okay, if you're on the right track, I'm going to assume that you're following a plan. Because yeah, if you're trying to write on a tired brain muscle, you could injure yourself in the form of, you know, feeling guilty that you're not living up to your potential and whatnot. Good. So yeah, guilt and other creativity destroyers are the injury. What I'm referring to as injuries. So yeah, don't force yourself. Once you make this plan, stick to it, but don't ever, if you are sitting down and it's just not going to happen, don't beat your head against the wall for too long. It's not good for you. So yeah, that's my spiel. What's everybody else think of this? What kind of, yes, guilt is a brain cramp. Exactly. Yay. Fantastic. So yeah, this is all in written form on my blog. I will be sending out a link to this replay, which I will be putting up on YouTube, hopefully within 24 hours. Yeah, the idea of cross-training, when I had that idea, I was like, oh, I feel a little bit like a smarty pants right now. Makes perfect sense to me, and it sounds like a good thing to do. Yay! I'm glad. Fantastic. Because when I was writing this, I was like, maybe I'm full of crap. I don't know. Maybe it's just me. But rarely has it been just me when I do these things. So, fantastic. Knowing I'll miss a day, all that happens is I have to restart my account. 60 plus, that's amazing. That's awesome. So cool. Yeah, so this replay will be up on YouTube, hopefully within 24 hours. I'm going to try some fancy technology stuff to get it up there. And then I will be emailing that to my newsletter, along with a link to the blog where you will be able to find all of this in written form. And yeah. So I keep forgetting to check, but I've busted 50K this month in terms of word count. That's amazing. Pacemaker.net. Is that a Periscope thing? No, it's a writing thing. Almost certainly a writing thing. Is it like count your words or something? Yes, I also wanted to sort of tease you all a little bit with a thing that I'm working on. I am currently putting together my first ever e-course, which is like a short email sort of like workshop type deal that I am currently putting together, all about how to developmental edit your work. So I'm going to be talking about things like how to analyze the point of view in your story, how to analyze the characters, all the things that I think about while I'm developmental editing someone else's work. I'm going to tell you how my brain functions and maybe hopefully help you to make your brain think about the same things while you're writing or while you're editing. So yeah, that'll be coming out. I'm working on that now. I'm pretty pumped about it, actually. It's going to be super information dense, which should be good. So if you're interested in that, if you throw me a few hearts just so I can gauge, see if anyone thinks that that's a cool idea. Cool. All right. Fantastic. Yay. Okay. And then as always, I have my Sunday, or not as always, as of the last like 2 weeks, I have my Sunday Ask Me Anything scopes. I'm going to be signing on at 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. So feel free to send me any questions that you have to megan@thewhynotblog.com or on Twitter, where I am also the Why Not Blog. You can see all that information. That's my email. This is my website. That's my Twitter and Instagram handle. And I'm also Why Not Blog on Facebook if you want to find me there as well. So yeah, and all those places you can sign up for my newsletter if you want to get a link to this replay and the blog and all kinds of other fun stuff that I send out. It's really the best place to stay up to date with what's happening over in my neck of the woods, between the periscopes. Yeah, there was a lot. This was a lot of talking one. So yeah, the replay will be real good. I will get that up on YouTube promptly, but now I have to go eat dinner before I go play kickball. That's a thing that's happening. I talked my fiance into joining a kickball league. I'm glad I saw the notice from Upgrade Your Story. Me too. Thank you guys for sharing this so much. Feel free to keep sharing far and wide. I love having, as many writers as possible in here because I like talking to y'all, and I like to share my information, and then I also like the back and forth a little bit. I'm pretty obsessed with Periscope right now. It's kind of my favorite thing. So yeah, I am going to sign off for the evening. Thank you all for joining me. I will see you on Sunday. Bye.